Jesus gave his life a ransom yonder on Calvary, on Mount Calvary, cruel Calvary.
Praise be to God and Father of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I welcome you to Encounter with the Truth here on Church of Christ TV. Islam Unveiled, Part 3. In this lesson, we want to look at the topic, the stages of Islam. The stages of Islam. We learned in part 1 of this series that the goal of Islam, or the agenda of the Islamic faith, is to win the whole world for Islam. In fact, Muslims believe that the Quran has to become the whole world constitution. And I read to you a lot of passages in the Quran and the Hadith that spell out this agenda of Islam. Let me share with you some of these passages once again. Surah 9, Ayah 33. Surah 9, Ayah 33. This is what the Quran says. It is He, that is Allah, who had sent His messenger, Muhammad, with guidance and the religion of truth, that is Islam, to cause it to prevail over all religion, even though the pagans may detest it. Surah 9, Ayah 33. The same information is repeated in Surah 48. Surah 48, Ayah 28. Surah 48, Ayah 28. Let me read to you that passage as well. Surah 48, Ayah 28. This is what the Quran says. It is He who has sent His messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to proclaim it over all religion, and enough is Allah for a witness. So according to these two passages, the goal or the agenda of the Islamic faith is to conquer all religions, to ensure that the whole world is Islamized. And how are Muslims to achieve this agenda? One of the methods that the Quran and the Hadith legislate for Muslims to use in achieving this goal is what we call jihad. Jihad, fighting for the cause of Allah. Where do we see this in the Quran? Surah 8, Ayah 39. Surah 8, Ayah 39. This is what the Quran says. And fight them on until there is no more persecution, and religion becomes Allah in its entirety. But if they cease, verily, Allah doth see all that they do. So this passage says, fight them on until there is no more persecution, and religion becomes Allah in its entirety. So Muslims are to fight all unbelievers until the religion becomes Allah's in its entirety. That the whole world becomes the religion of Islam. Prophet Muhammad also legislated jihad in the Quran, in the Hadith. Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 2, Hadith number 24. Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 2, Hadith number 24. This is what Prophet Muhammad said as to how Muslims should pursue this agenda of Islam. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's apostle, may peace be upon him, said, I have been ordered by Allah to fight against the people until they testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is Allah's apostle. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. According to this passage, Muslims or Muhammad claimed that he has been ordered or appointed by Allah to fight mankind until they all recite the Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And this is what Muslims are to follow in achieving the worldwide Islamic State agenda or the Islamization agenda. So, in this lesson, I want to outline to you or share with you the stages that the Islamic faith uses in achieving this agenda. There are two basic stages of Islam that we all have to know. Stage 1 of Islam is when Islam is in minority, and stage 2 of Islam is when Islam is in majority. What do I mean? What I'm saying is this, is that in achieving this agenda, the Islamic faith goes through two stages. We have stage 1 and stage 2. And the stage 1 is when Muslims are in minority in every place that they are. Stage 2 is when Muslims are now in majority. And what are some of the things that happens under stage 1 of Islam? Under stage 1 of Islam, Muslims pretend to be peacemakers or to be peaceful people. What are some of the passages in the Quran that Muhammad recited when Islam was in stage 1 or when Muslims were in minority at that time in the 7th century? Surah 2, Ayah 256. Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 256. Prophet Muhammad recited these passages of the Quran when his followers at that time were in minority in Mecca. Sometimes, if you have not studied the Quran well, Muslim preachers will quote these passages to convince you that, you see, what the so-called jihadist people are doing in the name of Islam is not part of Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. My dear brother or my dear viewer, that is a lie. That is stage 1 of Islam. And the stage 1 of Islam, Islam looks so peaceful. And Prophet Muhammad recited all these passages that I'm going to share with you under stage 1 of Islam when the Muslims were in minority. Surah 2, Ayah 256. This is what the Quran says. Let there be no compulsion in religion. Let there be no compulsion in religion. The Arabic says, La ikraha fi din. La ikraha fi din. Let there be no compulsion in religion. So if you don't know the Quran, you see, Muslims will quote this passage. You see, the Quran says, let there be no compulsion. So what Boko Haram and ISIS and Al-Qaeda are doing, killing people in the name of Islam, is not part of Islam. You see, the Quran says there should be no compulsion in religion. We shouldn't force anyone to come to Islam. My dear viewer, that is stage 1 of Islam. Muslims who comes out with some of these comments are doing so because Islam is in stage 1 in wherever they are. Still under stage 1, Prophet Muhammad said, you see, you can worship your God and I can also worship my God. You can practice your religion and I can also practice my religion. He recited this passage when he was in Mecca. The pagans were worshiping their idols. Prophet Muhammad came out with this passage and told the Meccans, the pagans, that, you see, I, Muhammad, will not worship your God. Neither will you also worship my God. So worship your God and let us also worship our God. Where do we see this in the Quran? Surah Al-Kafirun, that is Quran chapter 109, verse number 6. That's what the Quran says. To you be your religion, and to me mine. To you be your religion, and to me mine. The Arabic says, Lakum dinakum waliyadin. Lakum dinakum waliyadin. Worship, practice your religion, and let us also practice our religion. This sounds so peaceful. But my dear viewer, this is stage 1 of Islam. Still under the stage 1, Prophet Muhammad, you see, when he migrated from Mecca to Medina, he came into contact with so many people, like Jews and Christians. And under stage 1, when the Muslims were in minority, Prophet Muhammad told them that, you see, you can be a Jew, you can be a Christian, you can be any other person. Once you believe in God and practice good works, God is going to save you. That is stage 1 of Islam. Where do we see this in the Quran? Surah 2, Ayah 62. This is what Prophet Muhammad said. Surah 2, Ayah 62 in the Quran. That's Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 62. It says, those who believe in the Quran, that is the Muslims, those who follow the Jewish scriptures, that's the Jews, and the Christians, and the Sabians, and who believe in Allah and the last day, and work righteousness, shall have their reward with their Lord. On them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. This sounds so peaceful. You see, If you believe in the Quran, if you're a Muslim, if you believe in the Jewish scriptures, if you're a Jew, if you're a Christian, if you're a Serbian, once you believe in God and you do what is right, God will reward you at the end of times. Salvation is available to all these kind of people. It's not about living Christianity and becoming a Muslim. It's not about living Judaism and becoming a Muslim, but it's about you believing in God and practicing what is right. God will save you. Prophet Muhammad preached this message when Islam was in stage 1. That is, the Muslims were in minority. And this is exactly what Muslims today tell us. Muslims who are living in Christian majority countries will tell you, you see, we Muslims like democracy. We Muslims support freedom of worship. We Muslims are not like those Al-Qaeda people. They are saying all these things because Islam is in stage 1. And in stage 1, it appears to be peaceful. We like democracy. Over here in Africa, like Ghana, in the Western world, United States of America, in the United Kingdom, and in many parts of the European countries, Muslims are saying Islam stands for peace. Why? Because they are in stage 1. They are in minority in those countries. Christians are in majority. Jews are in majority. And they, the Muslims, are in minority. So they will tell you that Islam stands for peace. What the Arab world and what those people are doing, those people are not practicing true Islam. But, my dear viewer, that is stage 1 of Islam. Now, when the Muslim population grows to outnumber or to become more than the non-Muslims, then Islam now enters stage 2. So the stage 2 of Islam is when Muslims are now in majority. The population has now outnumbered that of the non-Muslims. And when they become majority, their tolerance now changes. And Prophet Muhammad recited this kind of passages when the Muslims now were in majority in Mecca and in Medina. Let me share with you some of these passages. Surah 9, ayah 29. Remember, under stage 1, he said that you can be a Christian, you can be a Jew, you can be a Serbian. Once you believe in God, once you practice what is righteousness, God will save you. But listen to what he's now coming to say. Surah 9, ayah 29. This is what Muhammad said in the Quran. Surah 9, 29. This is what the Quran says. Fight those who believe not in Allah, nor the last day, nor hold that forbidden, which has been forbidden by Allah and His Messenger, nor acknowledge the religion of truth. Nor acknowledge the religion of truth. Those that don't accept Islam, even if they are of the people of the book. Who are the people of the book? Jews and Christians. Even if they are Jews and Christians, you must fight them until they pay the jizya, full tax, with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. This is how Muhammad preached. When the Muslims, his followers, in the 7th century, outnumbered the Jews and Christians, outnumbered the non-Muslims. Still under stage 2, he now changes theology. Formerly, you can be a Jew, you can be a Christian, you can be a Serbian and be saved. But now, he said, you can never be saved unless you become a Muslim. Surah 3, ayah 85. This is what Muhammad said. Surah 3, ayah 85. This is what Muhammad said concerning salvation. Which religion leads to salvation? Let's read what Muhammad said in the Quran. Surah 3, 85. It says, if anyone desires a religion other than Islam, submission to Allah, never will it be accepted of him. And in the hereafter, he will be in the ranks of those who have lost all spiritual good. Remember, stage 1, those who believe in the Quran, those who believe in the Jewish scriptures, those who are Christians, those who are Serbians, any that believe in God, that's what is righteous. Allah will reward that person. But now he's saying, without Islam, there is no salvation. If anyone desires a religion other than Islam, never will it be accepted of the person, and in the hereafter he will be in the ranks of those who have lost. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ إِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. That's what the Arabic says in Surah 385. Also, he now didn't tolerate the pagans. Formerly, he told the pagans, you see, worship your God and I also worship my God. I, Muhammad, will never worship your idols. Neither will you also worship my Allah. This is what he said. He preached to the pagans in Surah 109, Ayah 6. Surah Al-Kafirun, Ayah 6. To you be your religion and to be mine. Lakum dinakum waliya din. When Muhammad and his followers became the uppermost in Mecca, now he's changed his theology. And this is what he told, or this is what he commanded in the Quran. Surah 9, Ayah 5. Surah 9, Ayah 5. It says, fight and slay the pagans wherever you find them. Fight and slay the pagans wherever you find them. Surah 9, Ayah 5. Now he's in majority. Islam is in majority. The Muslims are now in majority. They have more soldiers, they have more arsenals. So he's now preaching hatred. Fight and slay the pagans wherever you find them. Also, under stage 2, he now commanded that Muslims should not even take Christians as friends. Christians and Jews as friends. Surah 5, Ayah 51. Surah 5, Ayah 51. Surah 5, Ayah 51. This is what the Quran says. This is what the Quran says in Surah 5, Ayah 51. All you who believe, that's the Muslims, take not the Jews and the Christians for your friends and protectors. They are but friends and protectors to each other. And he amongst you that turns to them for friendship is of them. Surely, Allah guides not a people unjust. All you who believe, do not take the Jews and the Christians for your friends. But in stage 1, anyone who is a Jew, anyone who is a Christian, once you believe in God and that's what is right, God will save such a person. But now, Muslims should not even take Jews and Christians as friends. These are the two main stages of Islam. So, the stage 2 of Islam is what we see in countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, Oman, Yemen, Afghanistan, Pakistan. This is where we see the stage 2 of Islam. Muslims are now in majority. They now control the government. They now control the media. And in such places, they will never entertain any other thing apart from Islam. That is why Christian missionaries or Jewish missionaries can never go to such countries to practice their religion or to preach their faith over there. You dare not, because Islam is in stage 2. The Muslims are now in majority. So my dear viewer, or my dear brother or sister, these are the stages of Islam. And this is what Prophet Muhammad used. And this is what the early Muslim followers used in advancing Islam in many parts of the world. And let me share with you how Muhammad and his early followers employed these stages in advancing Islam. When Muhammad became the uppermost, when the Muslim became the majority, Muhammad would now send his soldiers to many tribes, to many groups, to invite them to Islam. When they refuse, then the Muslim will fight those people and kill the men, then enslave the people and convert the whole community to Islam. We see an example of this in the Sirah literature by Ibn Sa'd, in the book known as Kitab al-Tabakat al-Kabir. Kitab al-Tabakat al-Kabir. This is one of the Sirah literatures, one of the biographies we have about Prophet Muhammad. Volume 1, page 339. This is what Ibn Sa'd said. The Apostle of Allah sent Khalid ibn al-Walid with 400 Muslims to Banu al-Harith. He ordered him to invite them to Islam 3 times before fighting. So Muhammad would now send his soldiers to tribes in Arabia, then command the warriors to invite those people to Islam 3 times. Let's continue. They accepted what he had called them to do. They accepted what he had called them to. That is, the tribe, those people were so afraid of the Muslims. That is Banu al-Harith. He stayed among them to teach them Islam, its regulations, the book of Allah, and the sunnah of his prophets. This is how Islam spread in the 7th century. Contrary to what Muslims, preachers, and apologists are telling us today, that Islam was not spread with a sword, it was spread through preaching. That is not the case. According to this passage, Muhammad would now commission his warriors to go and invite people to Islam. When they fail to do so, then they fight them. And this is how they were able to capture many of the ancient Christian communities, cities, and countries. Muhammad also vowed to even drive Jews and Christians away from the Arabian Peninsula. Where do we see this? We see this in Sahih Muslim, one of the authentic hadiths, book 19, number 4366. 4366. This is what we are told. It has been narrated by Umar bin al-Khattab. It has been narrated by Umar bin al-Khattab that he heard the messenger of Allah say, I will expel the Jews and the Christians from the Arabian Peninsula and will not leave any but Muslims. This is what Prophet Muhammad ordered, that he, Muhammad, will drive all Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula and will never leave any but Muslims. That is why the whole of Arabia today has become an Islamic territory. No Christian missionary can dare to go there to preach Christ. You go there, you will not come back. And after Muhammad, his caliphs also followed suit. They also employed jihad in advancing the tentacles or the borders of Islam. Let me read to you what Caliph Umar did. Caliph Umar in Sahih Bukhari, volume 3, book 39, hadith number 531. Sahih Bukhari, volume 3, book 39, hadith number 531. Narrated Ibn Umar. Umar expelled the Jews and the Christians from Hijaz. Remember, Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith that he has been ordered by Allah to fight people until they testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is Allah's apostle. And this is what his followers, his caliphs, also did after Muhammad died. So Caliph Umar expelled the Jews and the Christians from Hijaz. Let me continue. When Allah's apostle, may peace be upon him, had conquered Khaybar, he wanted to expel the Jews from it, as its land became the property of Allah. His apostle and the Muslims, Allah's apostle, may peace be upon him, intended to expel the Jews, but they requested him to let them stay there on the condition that they would do the labor and get half of the fruits. Look at this. Their own land. Muhammad and his soldiers have conquered the land, and the people begged that Muhammad, we beg you, let us stay. And the condition was that they are going to do the labor. They are going to do the dirty work on the land. Let's continue. Allah's apostle, may peace be upon him, told them, we will let you stay on that condition as we wish. So they, the Jews, kept on living there until Umar forced them to go towards Taima and Ariha. Sahih Bukhari, volume 3, book 39, number 531. So beloved, this is how Islam spread in the ancient times. Two main stages, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1, Islam appears so peaceful. Stage 2, Islam now does not tolerate any kind of religion. And this was the strategy Muslim warriors used in capturing most of the Asian Christian countries and cities. For example, Caliph Umar conquered the Christian city known as Alexandria in the year 640s. 640 AD, Caliph Umar and his warriors captured Alexandria, burnt one of the biggest Christian library at that time to ashes. In the year 637, Muslims conquered the city of Jerusalem. Then they started building the Dome of the Rock on the ancient site of the Solomon Temple. In the year 636 AD, Muslims also captured the city of Antioch, where the disciples of Christ were first called Christians. In the year 1453, Muslim warriors also captured the ancient Christian city of Constantinople. They captured this city and changed the name from Constantinople to Istanbul, which is now in Turkey. And recently, the biggest Christian temple or cathedral that was built by Emperor Justinian in honor of Jesus Christ, known as the Hagia Sophia, was turned into a mosque by the president of Turkey. Most of the ancient North African countries that were great centers of Christianity were captured by the Muslims through jihad. My dear viewer, this is the same strategy Muslims are using in our world today. And as Christians, we need to know this. In Christian majority countries, because of the practice of democracy and because of the existence of secularism and freedom of worship, Muslims are seriously using this to gain grounds in most of Christian countries around the world. In the United States, Islam has become a political issue between Democrats and Republicans. In the United Kingdom, Islam has become a political issue between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. In Ghana here, Islam has become a political issue between NDC and NPP. Almost every political party wants to satisfy Muslims, all because of votes. And it's so sad that Christians have put politics above their faith. My dear viewer, according to the Pew Research Institute, Islam is going to be the world's largest religion by the year 2050. And we all know from history how Islam behaves when they become majority in any country. They now want to subjugate everybody. They now want to impose their religion on all people. In Europe, Muslims are killing people day in and day out. And it is so sad many Christians in the Western world are ignorant about this fact about Islam. And they are actually providing fertile ground for Islamization of all these strong Christian nations. My dear viewer, the purpose of this lesson is not for us to develop hatred against Muslims, but for us as Christians to preach the life-saving message of Christ to the Muslims. The gospel of peace is what Muslims need. And when we as Christians fail to do this, Muslims will read the Quran and be radicalized and change most of the places that we have now into their zones. It's about time Christian missionaries, it's about time Christian Bible colleges inculcate courses about Islam in their curriculum so that they can train preachers and ministers to reach out to Muslims. It is about time as Christian leaders and preachers we use the pulpit to sensitize our members on some of these facts about Islam. Islam has now become a political issue. If care is not taken, many Christian nations, many Christian majority countries will fall for Islam in no time. But we are very assured about what Jesus Christ said in the Bible, that the gates of Hades shall never prevail against the church. The Roman Empire persecuted Christianity for about 300 years, but at the end of the day, they lost, and the empire fell around 476 AD. We believe there was nothing Islam can do to destroy Christianity. No matter what they will do, they will still be Christians who will be faithful to Jesus Christ until the second coming or the end of the world. It's my prayer that this lesson will motivate you to approach Muslims with an informed mind, love Muslims, and share the gospel of Christ with them. These are the stages of Islam we want you to know. God bless you for watching, and may this information ignite you, rekindle your love for Muslims, and share Christ with them. This has been Encounter with the Truth here on Church of Christ TV. We invite you to visit us at Church of Christ for more information about how you can reach out to Muslims in your community. God bless you for watching, and bye-bye.
Jesus gave his life a ransom yonder on Calvary, on Mount Calvary, cruel Calvary. paved the way by blood that we might win a bright shining crown. Praise His mounting name.
Salvation has been brought down, oh glory.
Praise the